Welcome to another beautiful ass, magical ass moment in time. What's up, y'all? I don't know why my streamer is streaming like this. I am blocking the camera. I'm here because we're streaming like big time. Here we go. Hair like wool. Hello, hola. All right, y'all. So I wanted to record this conversation that I'm having here with sis. What's the question that you asked me?
I was asking, what's the end game to, if we are the most powerful people on the earth, why were we overthrown? And what's the end of it?
Okay. Let's look for somewhere to sit this. If we are the most powerful people on earth, why were we overthrown and what's the end game to all of this?
Yes.
The best way I can explain it is Predator.
Okay.
Remember the movie Predator? Not the new one that just came out, but the older one.
With Arnold.
Huh?
Arnold.
Remember when the new Predator came in to basically take out the younger Predator? Oh, we got it.
You might have to move your chair up.
Remember when the
You want to push it up?
yeah. You want it? Remember when the older Predator came out to take out the younger Predator? It was because of pretty much what's happening right now. Like, so many people want to say, okay, just because that's the same exact race or the person may still be your color, what makes that person still part of your race or still part of your same bloodline? And I feel like that was the whole point, even with the movie The Predator, how the Predator was showing you that even though it was the same race of predators, species, beings, there are still part of that specific race that was holding back the other portions of that blood damage, the doom and gloom of what's even happening on the spiritual breakdown, even of the predator, the predator, even what's happening in our economy, in our society. Look how many people, especially that are, so-called black people, who are stuck in this phase of, look what they're doing to our people, they're hurting our people. That's true, but not 100% necessarily. That's true, but not 100% necessarily. The reason I say that is because, like, for example, we create our reality. So because we create our reality, thoughts become things and words have energy and power. However, a lot of things are happening on the planet to specific so-called black people because of the sins of their forefathers and because of specific callings on their life that they ignored. And if specific things did not happen to specific people who are so-called part of the black race, if it did not happen to them, then we would still be in a spensation of the same cycle. And everything's changing. The planet's changing, everything's changing. So if everything is changing, then why would it be okay for that one thing that has become so parasitic to an entire race? Why would that be allowed to be okay? Why would that be allowed to continue on to a space of highly evolved energetic frequencies? It's a vibratory field. It's a megahertz of 144,000. It's not a people, folks. It's a megahertz. It's a vibration. It had nothing to do with religion. Religion is religion, which means Latin, to regulate or to bind by. Who binds you? Who regulates your mind? Who are you following? Who are you copying? What is your own energy signature versus you trying to copy others? So basically, we're not going into, because we're here now. We stepped into a timeline where you're going to experience your reality based off of your own frequency, based off of your own energy signature, based off of what it is that you have put out there, based off of the tools that you have galvanized from your lessons, that you can use those tools to help the collective, because those are truthfully the truthers right now.
The truthers?
The truthers, like the spiritual people are the true celebrities on the planet right now. And spirituality, you cannot fake spirituality.
Can't fake it nor mimic.
You can't fake it. And it's a frequency, it's a vibration. So even the wolves and sheep clothing is having their whole outfit zipped off from the back of their asses right now. Right? Right. So basically, and then look at the children too. The children are, highly evolved.
Quickly.
I have this little starseed that I'm sponsoring right now. Y'all keep a lookout for her. Her name is Amethyst Shine, and she is turning 9, and she can whoop everybody ass. Everybody. I mean, this little one is literally so far past the crystalline star seeds that are on the planet right now. And this is what we're stepping back into. We're stepping back into our superpower. We're stepping back into who we were before we became weakened by society's medications, drugs, poisoning of the air, foods, treacherous stress,
Bills.
lack of love of self, jealousy, envy, the 7 deadly sins. I can go on, but I'll just say the 7 deadly sins because it's easier for me to break it down to y'all like that. In the meantime, between time, your locks, your hair is wisdom. So I told y'all my story already about how I used to go through LA, and I would spend $1,400 per month on hair just to get the new hair. I had to have Janet Jackson's hair from his and her hair spot. And y'all in LA know what I'm talking about, because who didn't want Janet Jackson's hair? So, make a long story short, I would call in sick from work, y'all. Like, I wouldn't go and work. If I didn't have the money for it, I'd be home in bed. Like, I'm not going outside. And then my little one, I put her in the television and acting industry, and I noticed when I would put blonde braids in her hair, she got a job every time. I don't got now if there was 30,000 people in line and the line was a 3-day wait, she always got the job. And I start catching on like, dang. So I start braiding her hair, little blonde hair. But then when I took that blonde out of her hair, I had to take it out because I did not realize that it was traumatizing her. She did not know who she was in her own culture. So she wanted to be white. This is the experiment that they did with the black doll and the white doll, right? So when I realized that she was crying one day because she was mad because she wanted to be white, right? I was like, oh, hell no. So I banned all white dolls out of my house. No shade to the white people, but I'm pretty sure y'all already banned all the black dolls out your house. So don't act like it's something new. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So my daughter didn't have no self-identity because she was following her mother. She was following the fact that I was crying because of my hair weave, so she was crying because of her hair weaves too. But it was part of the psychotechnology of brainwashing from a collective generation where we grew up, where we had no knowledge of self. We had no knowing of even who we are. I mean, even my own family, even though I was born in Florida, but yet raised in Palm Springs, there was no black history in our history books. So when I moved to LA, I saw my own people and I would jump in the car and lock the door. I don't do that no more. I'd be like, what's up, fam? I love my people. I love myself. I love who I am. And I feel that it's very important for you to show your children who they are and teach them their history. We're in Montgomery, Alabama. And I want to come live with hair like wool because even the frequency, sis was asking me, like, who are we? What are our powers? You got crystals. Your hair, your locks got crystals in them. This is your superpowers. This is your wisdom. This is your insight. When you perm your hair, you are frying, dyeing, and dechemicalizing your hair. I shaved my head bald when I saw that my ex, who just passed away, was not going to keep spending $1,400 a month for me to have a hair weave, I called myself getting mad at him. I was like, fine, forget it. And I just went through my whole head and cut it off. I'll never forget. I walked up next to him and I was standing there bald. And he just looked at me like, okay, now what, Nubian? I was like, I don't know. Now you don't love me. Nobody loves me anymore. And I remember standing in the bathroom mirror just staring at myself like, okay, girl, now what? Now you standing here bald, now what? And I was like, it's like it just did something to my spirit because it's like for the first time I was facing me. I didn't know what the fuck I was facing, but I knew something happened. And I really feel that that was part of my awakening when I just decided to shave my head and tell my ex, fine, forget it, you know, break away from things that were holding me back, like that hair weave. Because hair weaves in your hair, first of all, is a stigma of you saying you don't appreciate yourself, you don't love yourself. You're not comfortable with yourself. So what you're doing is you're putting on this hair weave for someone to accept you for who you think that they want you to be. There's only one version of you that ever exists. So if there's only one version of you, why the fuck are you trying to be somebody else? I'm just saying. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. So out of anything that I've ever done in all of my experiences and my whole entire life, the one thing that my goal has always been after I overlooked my whole life and mapped everything out, and that has been my children. And that is, if I was to leave this planet right now, what is the greatest gift that I can give my children? Some people leave their children insurance policies. Some people leave their children houses. Some people leave their children cars. Some people leave their children debts. Some people leave their children generational curses. But my goal was to help clear up generational curses, help to break the chains of psychotechnology, of brainwashing, by helping my children to not only accept who they are, but realize their culture, and not just their culture, but their cultivative self, the powers that they have within that's beyond our ramification of our thinking, because we have been conditioned and programmed to not know ourselves. I never took a class in the college that said self-love or know thyself, course 101. Have you? So I figure if something happened to me right now, the best thing that I can do is leave my children self-love. That's the best gift I can give them. When I give them self-love, everything else, walk in the park. They'll get it from there. Because children are not going to do what they see you tell them to do. They're going to do what they see you do. So that's why my children have their own business. Had their own business since 2 weeks old and 3 years old. My 2-week-old, when she was 2 weeks old, the director said action on Crossing Jordan. She started crying. He said and cut. And she was doing television and acting since. And then my little one here, she was selling crystals at the black businesses in Chicago since she was 3. And she was making bank. And they always supported her. So, you got any more questions for me?
So how do you connect with your ancestors?
How do you connect with your ancestors? First of all, it's a recognition of knowing that you are your ancestors. And your ancestors don't control you, you control them, because you're your ancestors' authorized representative in this plane of existence. So because you're their authorized representative, that means that whatever birthright that they had, that they were not able to fulfill or receive the abundance thereof, it was left for you to retrieve that.
Okay.
But that's going to be based off of your dedication to the self, to the higher self, and being able to purge from generational curses. We have good ancestors and we have bad ancestors.
Okay.
So it's up to you. You can use your ancestors for all the things that you want to, but I guess at one point in time I used to say stay away from the bad ancestors. But now, if I need the bad ancestors to come with me in a gang fight, then I'm gonna have to call my bad ancestors because I know they're gonna get down. You know what I mean? If I need, just the good ancestors to give me wisdom about the next day or what's up right now, then I'm gonna use the good ancestors. But I'm not gonna use the one that's gonna trick me and have me in a fight. So The
So
connection
you have
is
to have the good with the bad.
you
have
got
to
to
take all
always.
and use it for the good of the rest of the people coming behind you.
Absolutely, because that's the thing with us as well, is knowing when to take the good with the bad or how to take the good with the bad, and also understanding that it's not always the other person. That could be you, whatever experience that you're having, that could be because of something that you did that you have to learn from karmatically or energetically that you have coming back to you.
Right.
So instead of us always blaming somebody else or saying he did it or she did it, what did you do to cause that, whether it was this lifetime or a past lifetime? You know what I mean?
So you believe that we eventually, if we don't pay in this lifetime, it's gonna come around anyways.
Well,
It has to be fulfilled, payment.
right. Well, first of all, I don't believe anything. Either I know it or I don't, because believe has lie in the middle of it. So do I feel strongly that, yes, we do carry energies from our past lifetime into our present lifetime to fulfill the contracts that we did not fulfill in a past lifetime. And that's based off of what it is that you have named yourself. So whatever your name is, there are specific energies, codes, numbers in your name that will tell you what your reason for being is, why you're here on planet Earth, how you talk, how you communicate, how you laugh, how you cry, how you love, how you make money. If you have debts in money, if you have debts in talking, if you have debts in family, that's all in your name. And you named that, you named yourself that based off of what you did in a past lifetime.
Naming what your parents give you, right? Because you don't.
No.
At first, you don't have the right. You don't. Or
No,
do
you
choose
told
to
your
tell them?
you told your parents what you wanted them to name you while your mother was pregnant with you. Now, whatever your father was feeling when your father was intimate with your mother, when he conceived you, that's what you're experiencing right now energetically on earth.
Right. I believe that. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like you said contract.
Yeah, everything's a contract.
Um,
Everything, whether written or spoken, everything's a contract.
So when did you realize that you could telepathically speak?
When did I realize?
Yeah, to other people. And do they have to be of your same kind? Usually, like there's a difference between feeling the energy and there's another difference between communicating back and forth.
Well, if you think about it, you have always been able to speak telepathically. For example, you just may not have known that you were speaking to yourself telepathically. If you were driving down the street and you saw a police officer up ahead and you said, okay, my license is suspended, I should go left, but you didn't listen to yourself, you were already talking to yourself telepathically, you just didn't know it. So you still went straight ahead and you got pulled over and you got a ticket. Or you thought about someone and then the phone rings and that's them on the phone.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean? So we're always speaking telepathically. It's just a matter of you remembering who you are, because everything is stored within your Akashic records, because your eyes are the camera.
Right.
Okay? And as your eyes are the camera, your mind is the recording.
So you don't necessarily believe in what they call it when people come back?
Reincarnation?
Reincarnation.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. If they didn't
what's
complete
the
their cycle.
difference? Reincarnations. Explain your understanding of reincarnations.
Well, first of all, you asked me your understanding of it, so therefore I can build around what it is that you want to know.
Okay. Well, before I understood what I know now, reincarnation was you come back either as a tree, a bird, or whatever. So when we talk about ancestors, that means that reincarnation is actually false based on that particular idea. Like the Indians from India, they say, you can come back as an animal, you can come back as a cat, So if we're talking about ancestors, we're talking about we're coming back in the same species form that we're in now, which is gonna be in a new body, but the spirit is still the same spirit. But the spirit has to then be trained up in the path. But my understanding, and I don't call it, what is it? I can't even say the word. What's the word?
Reincarnation?
Reincarnation. I understand it as regeneration. Like when the tree dies,
Right.
it puts seed in the ground and another tree sprouts up.
Right.
And it's a cycle that we come through.
Right.
So we come back with, it's almost like when you have a computer and you take away, you want to clean it out. You kind of refresh it and you take away the hard drive,
Right.
like the old memory.
Right.
And now you have a new template for it to create new memories.
Mm-hmm.
But the spirit of the computer still exists. So there's remnants and bits and pieces of that spirit of that old drive still within the computer.
Right.
So that's why I believe if I die from my family, maybe 3 generations down the line, I will come back through my family genes. Or if the creator says, okay, this is your last stop, my children could decide, I'm not having more children. You know, like what's going on now. A lot of people are like, I want to get my education, I want to do this and do that, I don't want to have more children, blah, blah, blah. So it could be one of those things. So what's the difference to you between regeneration and I can't
and
remember that
reincarnation?
word. Reincarnation.
Well, first of all, no one can pinpoint and say that we only come back as the species that we are now. That's
Do you
cute.
like Mickey Mouse?
I hate Mickey Mouse.
You look better than Mickey Mouse.
That is cute.
What about me?
Let me see her hair.
Okay, so I'm gonna just put a rubber band so I don't sew it so it doesn't just have to stay there. So you don't have to cut it out, cut the thread out or anything. So, yeah.
Okay, so, this is not something that I heard anywhere. I'm just trying to wing what you're asking, but I just don't.
Your understanding of it.
Okay, so we have something, in the tarot community,
What's that?
like the YouTube community, like readings, tarot cards, things like that, or it's known as a divine feminine or divine masculine.
Okay.
And which is like the divine feminine energy, which is a feminine energy, or the masculine energy, which is a masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a divine feminine, people just think that a divine feminine is just a female. A divine feminine could be a female human, or a female lioness, or a female dog, or you know what I mean? And same thing with masculine. So there's masculine and feminine versions of each species that are divine feminines and divine masculines.
Okay.
So in essence to what you're asking is, how does this apply to us just being one species when energy never dies? Right? So if energy does not die, for example, you could have been a dog abuser, and someone who abused dogs your whole life. And then when you die, you may have to come back as a dog to get abused. You know what I mean? Because energy, when we all,
transfers.
Yeah, it transfers. So basically it goes back up to what they call chaos, which is black smoke, which is the mist, to only come back to be transferred somewhere else out into the galaxy, But we can't say that a specific energy is only going to come back as a specific species because we don't know what that karma is.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and then you don't know where that energy is going to go. Because when you die, that light at the end of the tunnel could be someone. Let's see, can they see me? Let me take it closer.
Want to do it this way?
Yeah.
This chair?
Okay.
You sit there and then put it on that chair.
Okay. They can see me.
In your face.
Y'all can see me?
Take your jacket off, man, so I can get to this. Okay, so the oil I'm using is my Ancestral whip oils with witch hazel.
Can you push that button?
Yeah.
That close button right there. You see it? It says close. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. So what are you using again?
The essential whip oils consist of tea tree oil, castor oil, coconut oil. I don't know this. It's nice and hard. I went blank. Vitamin E oil. Just all the essential oils put together.
Okay.
So it's all in one. Makes it that much easier.
So I can't see the energies, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, I guess it just depends on the person, it just depends on the individual energy.
Individual energy, okay. Oh,
Because everybody's experience is different, depending on what they did in present or past life, you know, to see if they completed their cycle. Like for example, your life path can be a 9. And if it's a 9, this is your last time to complete it, to get it right. But if not, then you're going to come back and have to learn the lesson of what it is that you didn't learn.
Start over again.
Right. So you may have to learn, you may have to come back as a dog because you keep kicking dogs and murdering dogs and have a dog slaughter. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is there's a divine order, but there is not necessarily anybody at the wheel.
We're all at the wheel, actually.
Okay.
That's the centrifuge of all of this. We're all energetically connected as one. We are the God that we all have been looking for. We all are the God, goddess, energetic field that we've been looking for. And that's why it's so important for us to balance the masculine and feminine energy within ourselves.
Just a twist?
Yes. Yeah. So
So
that's
we
what
are-
Anubis and Mayat is about, you know. Transformation, is your heart light as a feather, you know, are you ready to learn the lessons that you need to learn to heal generational curses or things that you may have even done that you gotta fix so you gotta come back to repeat it again.
Do you ever have dreams of falling?
I used to a lot when I was little, but I haven't in a long time. Have you?
I have, yeah.
What does that mean?
Because usually when people fall, we fall backwards.
Right.
And we're able to see our own faces as we're falling. We're able to see the fear in our faces when we fall. And that's usually when we're going down the wrong path. Where it feels right, it sounds right, it seems right, everything about it is right because we can prove a lot of the things that we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes to a point where the step is not a step that you can see. And when you take it, then you fall. Even though you took it forward, you end up falling backwards. And a lot of times you make it from falling backwards, a lot of times you don't make it. So in turn, you have to figure out as you're walking down this path, you need to remember that there's a chance I could fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how not to fall. Because falling, it doesn't teach you a lesson. Because once you fall, and usually when you're falling, it's a high ground. You're falling from very, very high. So it's not like you're just going to bounce back. So if you think about it as, okay, this could be my last chance. So what you do, like you said with the ancestors, is you go back into your repertoire of how you were brought up. What did your grandmother say? You start hearing all the different voices you've heard before, whether it be the person next to you talking to you, or whether it be in your own spiritual mind where you thought about conversations you would have with somebody, you know, if they were still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we confuse some of those conversations. So, falling is a sense of fear. Because when you fall, you're afraid, right?
Right.
Right. So you try to grab onto things that'll help you stabilize, that'll stop you from falling. And that's not what you want. You don't want to grab on those things because the things you're going to grab on, they might be weak. Because if you're falling, there's a mountain usually or a hill or something. And the only way you can grab onto something is if you fall on it. Like a big, huge branch is sticking out of you've seen that before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have to then sit, remove yourself from everything you've been taught, everything you've known, everything you feel, and empty your space. Just empty your space completely. And when you empty your space, ask. Don't say who you're asking. Just ask, because the answers, they're always there. They're always there. They're always present with you. Yes. And a lot of times they're calling out to you and we can't hear them. So just ask for direction. I know that word sounds really like, oh yeah, just ask for direction, ask the Lord for direction, whatever. But that's not what it is. It's ask really. That telepathic thing we do on the inside of ourselves, that we talk to ourselves, that we're able to talk to our mother and our fathers and our whoever has passed on. But we know we're not talking to them. We're talking to the spirits that control all things, including death. Ask. Am I going down the right path? Where do I need to turn? Give me signs so I can know on the way when to really listen. Give me signs. Let me understand. Because you don't want to leave again not having the complete story. Because this is the chance to really have the complete story. And when you do, like you said, leaving the generational curses or leaving the inheritance to our children, all these different things, and how these other lesser beings have now overthrown the beings of the sky, the beings of the heavens. You know, all these things have a purpose and there's a reason. There's lessons that should have been learned a long time ago that we avoided. And because we don't know who we are, just like you said, we don't know our true source, nor do we know our true power. So what we're doing is almost like we're playing Connect 4 in the dark. There's no connection. You might get it in a hole, which is 1 out of 100 chances, or usually it will end up on the floor. So instead of doing that in the dark, do it in the light. Do it in the light of, I don't know what I think I know. I don't understand what I think I understand. You have to start anew. You almost have to start like when a brand new baby comes in the world and the parents give them their names. Like you said, because before I had my children, I dreamt about them. I saw them clear as day. I knew exactly what they were going to look like, everything. So yes, we do have that power to.
There we go.
Are you live?
Mm-hmm.
These people
Mm-hmm.
You have to empty yourself of everything in order to really fill yourself with the knowledge that they're trying to give you.
Right.
Because who you are is, like you said, it's tied to the universe. And it's not just that. You're in oh my God, you're in let me see. You're probably in you're from 3 or 4 different tribes. And each tribe has their own powers.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to be as powerful as you are, that means those powers have been translated to you from
Absolutely.
each tribe. For instance, if there's a tribe of priests, right?
Right.
And your father or your mother is mixed within that tribe. And then there's a tribe of praise. And there's a tribe of judging. And there's a tribe of warriors. All of these traits now reside inside of you.
Right.
But in order to really exercise all of those traits, you now have to discover which tribes. What do they mean? Where do I find my tribes? What was their characteristics? What were they called before they were called the Incas and the Mayans and all these different things? How were they able to even read the stars? How were they able to do the things that they did in the time span that they did it in? How come their civilization was way beyond any other civilization to date? And then how come when the Europeans came here, this land was more technologically advanced than any other nation in the world?
Exactly.
Why was that? So when you see on Discovery Channel or whatever, the History Channel, they're like, oh, it was aliens that came here and aliens did this and aliens did that. When somebody calls somebody an alien just means someone not of this.
Someone foreign, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And UFOs, it's the same thing.
Right.
It's unidentified. Doesn't mean
No,
it's not valid.
It's unidentified to the people who can identify it, but we know what the hell it is.
We know who they are. We know who they are.
Exactly.
We're able to communicate with them. But because our frequency, like you said, our frequency is weak. Because, of course, the chemtrails, the political, the vaccinations, all these different things that now they have control over our bodies in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So many ways. Because even if you homeschool, guess what? You still got to go by their curriculum somewhere.
Shit. Says who?
What curriculum do you use?
What curriculum of theirs? When you homeschool, you can homeschool your child based off of your beliefs, your traditions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a form that you fill out. When you go to homeschool your child, you can either look on Google,
Mm-hmm.
pull up your state's name of whatever state that you're in, and pull up the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they'll already have a form online that you can download. They usually do. It's their pre-form. It's usually always on their website.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to download homeschooling registration, and you do it every year, and you fill out that form to let them know that and then they have like little boxes.
It's like a registration thing?
Yeah, it's like should be there.
what I'm saying is when we had our own land, so to speak, when we had our own educational system, we didn't have to go to another nation of people to sign any paper.
Absolutely.
To ask them permission or whatever it was for us to teach our children whatsoever we wanted to.
Right.
So, in turn, these people are over us. But there's a, like you said, there's a cause and effect. If we were these beautiful, wonderful beings,
I don't accept that. No, they're over us. They're not over us. That's the thing, that we've given our power away too long to put people over us, and then we fear standing in our power and accepting who we are because we're afraid that so-called people who are so-called over us are going to come to try to tame us or beat us down like slaves or horses. The reason, huh?
Were your people slaves to the Europeans?
Were my people slaves? My people were Indians. But keep in mind, the Cherokees were the ones that actually conquered the Europeans first in war.
Right.
So
the Cherokees still have all of their land.
Not all of not all of their land, but you got to keep in mind, this ain't nobody's land anyway.
This is somebody's land.
The original ancient Lemurians.
The people that were brought here.
And then you can't
They
even.
were the Star people.
Right, exactly.
How did they get here? Do you know the history of how they got here?
Absolutely.
What's the history?
You tell me the history first.
The history of how they got here, they read the stars. They came from what we now call the Middle East, which is not the Middle East. There is no continent called the Middle East. They came from that area. They went around Africa. It took them a year and a half to find this place, and this place was not called, I don't know if it's Atlantis or Ameria, because as far as I know, but they got here, and this place was called Arswith. Arswith means the land where no mankind dwelt. Nobody was here, but the spirits of the ancestors guide them here through the stars, because the stars, like you said, they're actually beings. They're the beings, the messengers that go back and forth between us and the ones that created us. And we all look the same, really, but except they're at a higher spiritual level. They're able to disappear. They're able to morph. They're able to be in this room at the same time with us, and we won't even know. They're able to talk to us without Bluetooth, without earphones, without any kind of communicational tools that we know of in modern day. So they're the ones that move the stars around to guide the ancestors to come to this side of the world. And the reason why the ancestors wanted to come to this side of the world, because they were being enslaved and killed by the people that were on what we call the east side of the world. So the way was made and permission was given to them, and the rivers and the ocean was held still so they could cross over. And a lot of them got off on most of the islands. That's where you see what they call Boliquas, Cuba, all the different islands that we call the Indian islands right now. Some of them stayed there. Some of them went on to the mainland. Some of them went on to what we call South America now. And they were here for thousands of years before the colonizers found that this land even existed. Nobody knew about this land. But the reason how they were able to find out about this land existing was through our ancient text. And when they found that, they were able to prove that a land were here. They got financing from their queen. This is after they overthrew the Moors, of course, because they were exiling all the Moors onto like Cape Verde. They were sending them to different places because they were then during the Renaissance period taking over our European lands. And the Moors just mean black. They were just black people that ruled around that time. And the Moors were actually the same people, the ancestors of the same people that came on this side of the world. And majority of them were dark, but most of them were already mixed due to the different captivities, like the Assyrian captivities and all the different the Ethiopian captivities, all the different captivities that they were under. So they prayed, and they got to find this land through the ancestors. And so when they got here, they built civilizations. They were keeping the laws that constitute everything, that they were worshiping the moon. They weren't worshiping the moon per se. The moon were feasts, were guidelines to show them about the feast days and how to celebrate their creator, how to carry themselves. And if you know about the pyramid, you know about the pyramids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's pyramids all over the world, not just Egypt.
That's why the people that came here built all those pyramids. Because the same people that built the pyramids in Egypt were the same people that came to this side of the world. And so when they got here, because they were the architects, they were the masons, they were the ones that were doing all of this. If you read about
The Moors are the original Masons. The Moors started masonry.
Because they're the same people as the people that came to the Americas that we know now
Right.
as Indians or Native Americans. They were the same people. They have the same ancestry. But because of slavery and colonization, they had to move around. But this place was given to them to inhabit.
No, they don't have the same ancestry. Some of the Moors mixed and mingled with the Indians. That's why they moved a lot of Moors. They moved from Spain. When the Moors came from Spain, the Moors came to fight the Revolutionary War. Remember that? When they came to fight the Revolutionary War, I was just
way prior to that. This
right.
is prior to like the Renaissance. This is in the 12th century. This is way before
Right. When
the
the
white man came out of the mountains.
But when they came to fight the Revolutionary War, they mixed and mingled with the Indians who were already on the land.
Prior to that, they all came from the same lands.
Right, but prior to that, like prior to what you're talking about with the Africa and all that stuff, there were Indians who were already here. The way that they ended up, the way this whole thing ended up happening in the first place is because the Nomos came from Star Sirius A. When they came from Star Sirius A, they shared the knowledge with what is called the Dogons. The Dogons are the people who they started the universities of Timbuktu. They're super, super, super smart people. They are.
What century this was?
I don't know what century this was. No, I don't. I just know that this was.
In Timbuktu,
Mhm.
they escaped from our homeland into Africa, and they were not Africans.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I'm tying this back into how you started sharing with me about the Africans and the land, things like that. I'm sharing with you how the Africans got their knowledge in the first place, which at the time was a tribe of Dogons. And the Dogons shared the knowledge with the people that were on the planet because they got the information from the Nomos. The Nomos are the star people, which are the fish people, which where you see, which are half human and the half mermaids. Okay, so with the half human and the half mermaid, those are the Nomos. And this is why you see everything that is dealing with sacred geometry started from what the Nomos shared with the Dogon, which are the star people, and what the Nomos were sharing, which is technically our bloodline, our tradition of the Nomos, anyways, because not everybody is black, not everybody is human. Different people could be the same exact color, but you can be from a different star system or a different star race. Now, when the Nomos came to share the knowledge with the Dogons, one of the Dogons that was in West Mali, Africa, was taken into slavery. When he was taken into slavery by Queen Elizabeth's empire, when he got taken into slavery, he bartered for his freedom. In exchange to barter for his freedom, he taught Queen Elizabeth's empire how to run a place as small as England and Wales, as small as Scotland, as small as those small little corners over there in the world, how to run the entire planet, how to do medicine, how to run hospitals, how to run schools, how to even speak, because there were even no words. The original language was the Dogon doors. The Dogon doors were pictures. We spoke in pictures. We didn't even speak in language. And then when they drew on the sand. They still draw on the sand to this day. And then when they want to get answers, they would look to the stars. But even when they looked to the stars, there were still indigenous people who were already here of this land here long before any of the ships and the slaves and all that whole story with the whole African thing anyways. Because if you look at the ships, all of them have a cross on the ships, and the cross on the ships was not talking about a religion. It was a direction, north, east, west, and south. And the stuff that I'm sharing with you right now is the stuff that the Christ, the Jesus that so many people serve, came to share with the people, but he was too ahead of their time. So he was crucified because of what I'm sharing with you now, where he was trying to share with the people who they are, what their powers are, where they're from, and how they have literally tapped into a system that has indoctrinated them against their better good.
Has weakened them,
Pretty much.
So we're somewhat on the same page now. When you talk about Christ, Christ came from the stars. He came things that he was speaking to the people that were gods, that forgot they were gods upon the earth, that the earth was given to them, the moon, the stars was given to them, and that when he returns, he will return with many chariots, what they call UFOs, to come and not just rescue his people, but give them back the earth, their domain that was given to them from the beginning. But because they went against their natural order, that's why they were taken in captivity. That's why they were brought to a lower state. That's why they lost their identity, they lost their heritage, their language, their customs, and their holy days, their feast days, and all these different things. That's what he was teaching them. He was telling them, repent. Repent meaning get your mind